All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the show. Hello, Hair Pro. It's all done by me, Todd. Kidding. What's up, Jen?
I just show up.
So today we're going to talk about a few different things, from what's going on at our space currently to culture to this idea of it's my opening take, which is what we always start with, our opening takes. So who wants to go first?
Why don't you go first?
All right, cool. My opening take is that it's time to kill the business side, quote unquote, myth. People talk about this, oh, I'm not good at the business side. There's no sides. You either have a business or you don't. And I think people get confused about that. And I understand what they're saying. They're talking about the owner or the operator as the business and the numbers and those things as the business side. And then the technical side, which is cutting the hair, coloring the hair, booking the appointments. But things like leadership, they're not on one side or the other.
It's constant.
Yeah, your culture, your systems, your client experience, those don't fall into one easy category. You need both sides, quote unquote. So I think the business is the structure that allows you to take care of your people so that they can then take care of the clients. If you're a commission salon owner, if you're a booth renter or a suite owner, it's just reduced down. You don't have that second layer, but the business is the structure that allows you to not be worrying about those things while you're serving your clients, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So if your business is messy, your culture is eventually what's going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's a reflection of it.
So, yeah, there's that. What do you got for opening take?
My opening take is, I'm sure we're going to talk about it a little. It's been a week, and one of my clients had given me a great piece of advice, which was that I'm going to cry. What the heck? You're never given more than you can handle. And this week, we were given a lot to handle. And I think we did a really great job at handling it.
We did.
And what I learned is that the universe or God or whatever you believe in thinks we're really freaking strong, and maybe stronger than even I realized. So if you're having a week and you're given more than you think you can handle, it's given to you because someone somewhere thinks you can handle it. That's my opening take.
That's a good one. People are probably wondering what the hell is going on. So I guess we can break it down, but I want to say one more thing, not an opening take, but a little thought that I have here is that there's also a myth of that you can achieve some sort of problem-free success. I think sometimes people think they're going to reach a level of success where things just take care of themselves. I think that money comes into the equation, and people, or we in general, think if I just hit this certain mark, how many times have you said, it's all this bullshit out there that, like, 7-figure stylist, and a 7-figure stylist has just as many problems as a 4-figure stylist. They're trying to navigate the same exact things. It's just a different set of problems, or it's a view of problems that you're looking at differently. But you're never going to reach a point where problems go away. And then, right, to be honest with you, Jen, I don't think problems are bad, and it took me a long time to get here, but problems just mean that you have something in front of you that needs your attention and your energy. And a lot of times it gets overwhelming, and that's what Jen is talking about. That happened to us this week, and let's dive into it. Do you want to, or how do you want to?
You can start.
All right. So everyone knows that it's been crazy cold up here in the Northeast, and you can probably guess immediately where this is going, but we got a call on whatever day in the middle of a storm that we had water in the salon. And so we packed up our kids and we head out because we didn't really have a choice. We weren't going to leave them at home in a storm by themselves, and we couldn't just leave the salon and figure it out later. So we had to get in there and assess what was going on. Excuse me, I'll cut that out. Usually I hit mute here, but so on the drive over, I knew exactly what had happened in my head. We have an area of our salon that we've been complaining about forever that just constantly gets cold. And I was like, a pipe finally burst, and that's got to be what it is. So we walk in, the salon's completely flooded. Now, I don't want to exaggerate, probably 80% flooded. There were...
The back room was up to my ankles, people.
Yeah.
Ankles.
So we had, I would say, at least 2 inches, an inch in maybe most of it, 2 inches to a little more maybe in some areas. It was a mess. So obviously that can be overwhelming, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but as a business owner, as a leader, you have to immediately start solving the problem.
Mm-hmm. Divide and conquer.
So the first things first is I wanted to make sure the space was safe. So we had to shut off everything electrical, shut the computers down, look around, make sure plugs aren't hanging into water, things like that, right? So we got that situated. Step 2, we needed to find what the source of the water was, which I nailed it down probably within 45 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I knew where it was. I walked into the room that's always freezing cold, and you could just see the water bubbling and coming from under the wall. So from there, Jen wasn't as calm as I was. She was going into a freak out mode, and that's a totally valid reaction to have. You're looking at your business, so we work hard, and we don't really like blow each other's horns, or what's the friggin' saying? I can't think of it right now. I don't know. We're not really people that are like, we work so hard, look at us, but we work hard as everybody does, and it sucks to see your space like that. And so I don't think Jen had a reaction that wasn't warranted at all. I think it's a perfectly normal human reaction that she had, and she needed some focus. So I knew I got to take control of this situation because that's what needs to happen. So I had her contact our insurance. That was step 2 or 3 or wherever we're at.
Yes.
And I was dealing with I don't know if he's the property manager or what. I don't know what his title is.
Me either.
I don't care. And so we had an issue.
The guy who knows not a lot about the building.
Yeah. So we have an issue now where water is coming in. I've identified that it's a leak in a pipe in a wall, and we need to water off. That's the next step. Well, that was a 2-hour process because I'm just going to say it. Our landlord owns another business in the building that was open, and he didn't want the water off to his bathrooms. And they weren't exactly sure how to shut off the water to just our unit. Now, mind you, in our lease, and it's totally fine, it says that we do not have access to these areas of the building. They're locked. And I've expressed this concern before that if something happens, I'm not going to be able to shut the water off or the electrical or whatever. And I was pretty much told too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So after about, I would say somewhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours, they finally agreed to shut the water off. At this point, they have to locate where to shut the water off, and no one knows. So they're looking for these shutoff valves. Finally, I go down into the area that the water comes into the building, and I know because I've been down there. And the people that were trying to help us were looking at some random water heater in the corner. So this is frustrating to me. And they're on the phone. They're on speakerphone. And of course, they're talking about responsibility and who's responsible and all this stuff, right? Because when you're in crisis mode of shutting the water off, figuring out who's responsible is at the top of the list. If you couldn't tell, that was fucking sarcasm. First order of business should be shutting the water off, not worrying about who's responsible. So from there, I said, hey guys, the water comes into the building here through this pipe, goes through this meter. This is the main shutoff. And then these 4 other valves go to the various parts of the building. And they said, oh, okay. So then they're staring at them. And I said, this one's labeled salon. And they go, okay. And so I said, you think we want to turn it? You think we want to close the valve? And so I hear on the phone, someone on speaker, I don't know who it was, and they said, hold on a minute. We don't want to shut the water off to the club. We might want to hold off. Now, at this point, I'm frustrated, and I'm like, okay, you guys are letting your building that you own flood.
And our space is just, I'm literally just watching a wall with a waterfall.
Rather than shut the water off and apologize to someone that has to wash their hands, maybe put out hand sanitizer or something for a couple minutes. I think any normal, rational human being would go, oh my God, is everyone okay? Yeah, I can use some hand sanitizer instead of washing my hands. Let me know if it comes back on. I'll wash my hands. I don't know what washing your hands is so bad. You need to wash your hands so bad. Now, at that point, I went upstairs and there's hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water now on the floor. So someone comes over and says, hey, the water's coming in over here. And I said, okay. Just let it run for 2 hours. Like, you let it run for 2 hours. What do you want me to do? And they said, no joking. Do you have a mop? And I just looked at them and then closed the door right in their face, because this isn't a job for a mop. This isn't a job for a wet vac, which, by the way, Jen had me grab because she thought we were just going to go in there, vacuum up a little water and go home.
Yeah. I won't even tell you the stuff I was saying because it's not appropriate. So that's why I was given the phone duty to call the team that's going to come in and help us, because I needed to focus and stop swearing.
Yeah. So
it wasn't like a Jen and Todd cleanup crew. We can do a lot of things, but I'm not a plumber. I'm not a serve pro. Like, Jen and Todd are amazing, but Jen and Todd are not the cleanup crew for this type of devastation that is in our salon at the moment. I laugh now. I was not then.
So then we leave, and I'm making these points because I'm proud of how Jen and I handled this situation. We end up leaving. First, we contact a plumber. We contact the cleanup crew. We get all that stuff coordinated with our insurance. We get the claim in. There's still hundreds of gallons of water on the floor, but there's literally nothing we can do about it.
And remind you, we're still in the middle of a snowstorm. All of these places are closed.
Yes. I've got my kids out in a snowstorm. I want to get them home. They have school in the morning. We've got to get things situated. Fast forward, we pack up the kids. We make sure everything's safe one more time. We do a walkthrough or a swim through, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And we decide that at that point, there's really nothing else we can do. So we head out, we get our family home, we get our kids home, we get everyone in PJs and warm and cuddled up and ready for bed. Get another phone call from the building owner saying that we have to come back to clean up the water because it's getting into their area. So I point out how they let it run for 2 hours. I point out how there's nothing we can do about it. And we ended up just hanging up because I was frustrated. But I didn't lose my temper, but I was close enough to where I put my phone on speaker and put it down on our island because I'm like, I need Jen to hear what I'm hearing because I don't believe what I'm hearing. Mm-hmm. There's absolutely nothing anybody could have done with a mop or a squeegee or a wet vac.
And really, if you think about it, that water ran for almost 3 hours because the call we got, they should have turned the water off then. And it took us probably close to an hour to get there because we had to drive so slow in the snow. Like, all that water could have been avoided. Or not all of it, but a good portion of it.
Yeah, for sure. Through this whole thing, right now, so now here's where we're at right now. It's been a few days. Cleanup crews are going. I have a contractor lined up, and we're going to rebuild the salon from the ground up, quite literally. And we're going to salvage what we can salvage, and insurance is involved in that stuff. So it's right now we're in a bit of a waiting game, but I wanted to point out the story because it would be easy to lose your shit and just give up or freak out or start blaming people. Every single thing that happens in your business is your fault. So this is technically our fault, even though Mother Nature decided to make it negative 10 degrees and burst a pipe. We obviously didn't do that. I obviously didn't build the building and put in a lack of insulation. I obviously didn't build the building however long ago and put in copper lines on the exterior walls of a building, which is insane. I obviously didn't cause them to not understand where the shutoffs were. Like, but it still
falls on us at the end
yeah,
of
it
the
falls
day.
on us because we're the leaders. And so
Yeah.
I'm proud of how Jen and I work together. And like she said in the beginning, divide and conquer. But then the reality sinks in. Jen thinks, I'll move clients for tomorrow and we'll figure it out. Now, I understand this is a weeks long project. This isn't
I literally, guys, thought like a day and a half I was going to be back in my salon working. A little crazy at the time, but Todd did not tell me I was wrong because he knew I couldn't handle that at the time. So it was like, boop you on the nose. You're cute, Jen. But yeah, let's wait and see.
yeah. So we get in the I get in there the next day with the cleanup crew, and they give me a rough estimate of a time frame, which is 3 weeks, which is probably faster than I don't know. I don't know what I thought initially because I wasn't thinking. I was just solving the problems one by one, which is really what you have to do is start to dive in and solve. You have to identify the problems and you have to work in order and attack the problems. So the reality that starts to set in is that we have a staff and our staff relies on us for their paychecks and we can't let them down. And we did what we had to do. And I'm going to let Jen take over and tell a little bit of that story because that's where we've been through this before, but we've been through this at a different building where Jen and I both worked in the different businesses, but in the same building that lost power. And I think you went through it another time.
Yeah, individually have been through it. So I knew
But it's different when with 16 of us.
Yeah, I could place myself anywhere and figure it out. But yeah, when it comes to a staff, can't leave them behind. And to be honest, a staff that's fairly young, so asking them to be uncomfortable is not something that they've been asked of often or is not something that they would accept. They're going to freak out. To be honest, when Todd first called me and gave me the reality of the weeks, when he said weeks, I was like, I am not okay. I cannot handle this. And took a minute, right? But then I am a spaz by nature. It's just where it's at. And when things are going down and I can't control
really?
stuff, I'm an extra spaz. Yeah. But usually I do just spaz out and like just try to like start shooting at wherever I can figure out solutions. So in this one, I actually took a breath. Todd called me on the way back from the salon and I said, I have an idea, but before I do it, because I am so spazzy, just tell me if I'm being crazy or if you're going to co-sign and think it's a good idea. A woman that helped me out when I was closing my last salon and we were opening up Hello, she has a space really close to us. And I knew she had some chairs that weren't rented. So I had said to Todd, what do you think if I call her and ask and see if she's willing to help us? And he said, I thought of the same thing. I think it's a great idea. So I reach out. Her name is Jane. I reach out to Jane and explain the situation. Todd and I are there by the afternoon talking with her. And I have 4 chairs that you can rent. I will just shift our staff amongst these 4 chairs. We'll just be on limited schedules, but at least we can work. We can be together and feel like just we're doing something because there's nothing we can do at the salon. And all of us probably need to wrap our minds around just something else. And what do we love to do? Hair. So let's just do some hair. Placing our esthetician was a little bit harder, but we ended up finding her with Todd and I a suite to rent for her for the time being so she could still work. And then really it became this, they had to trust. Like I know they're all crumbling. So
Why don't you talk about how you notified them?
I was just going to say. So Todd sent out the first message, just I couldn't even talk. So they understood what was happening. And then the next one I decided.
Not really.
What?
I said by design, not really. You said they knew what was happening. Not really. They didn't know the extent.
No. And they didn't need to know the extent. They just need to know what we need to tell them.
And a big thing I want to point out is the reason I was vague with the staff and I said, hey, we're going to close tomorrow. If you guys can move your clients, there's water in the salon. That's where I left it, is because we didn't have any answers yet. There's absolutely no need for you as an owner to start speculating and start guessing at stuff that you have no freaking clue. I already had 50% of our ownership group, which is Jen, doing that. She was like, we'll be fine by this day and we'll do this. And so I didn't need that getting to the staff. So again, it was on me when I recognized that was going to be a problem. it was on me to step in and take over as the liaison to the staff, where Jen would typically take that role.
Mm-hmm.
So
For
go
sure.
ahead.
So then now there's 16 of us, right? I can't get on a call with everybody, and I don't even probably have the bandwidth at the time. So I decided I would put a video together just so they could hear me, see me, feel good about it. And really, I just said, trust the process, trust me and Todd. I will be with you from open to close, whatever shifts you're given, I will not leave you. And just trust that I've got your back. And truly, after, I sent that, all of them were like, just nice to hear your voice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was great to see your face. And, when we all showed up on that Wednesday for that shift, most of them probably didn't want to be there because they were scared and they were uncomfortable. But once they saw me, we worked through the problems. They all just trust our leadership and knew that we've got their backs, and they were happy that we were just together. And we killed it this week, just rallying around the culture that we've built. It was crazy to see all the systems we have at place at Hello quickly just come right into where we were. I knew we were mobile-ish because we have not electronics, but like booking software, like everything is mobile, like the way we have it. And we were packed up in 45 minutes, set up in 45 minutes at Jane's salon, ready to go start taking clients, and then just shooting at systems that weren't like, how is our flow going to be? And we did that all so quickly. There were some tears, don't get me wrong, but everybody showed up, some just to hang out and give support. And it was amazing to watch everything that we've built at Hello just transfer over into a new location and not skip a beat. Like, proud. I was smiling, as sometimes I was crying and smiling. We just all went with it, and we got through the first week. It wasn't probably pretty at times, and we've all hit some bumps in the road, but everybody's just excited to be together. And the interesting part about it is the gratitude of the staff that all have said to me throughout the week. I knew I loved what we're doing at Hello and this and that, but wow, I really miss it. I love it more than I would have thought. I just, all the things that they miss that you just take for granted over time, and all of just the little points that have shown them kind of what to be grateful for, and that they're appreciative of certain things, and they can't wait to get back in the space and honestly be better than they were, which is cool.
Yeah, I pointed out that there was two things. There was one point where I was like, this is probably where your typical owner freaks out because they think their whole staff's about to quit because they've been waiting.
Okay.
When you have staff that you're like, are they staying? Are they leaving? Are they going? I'm not really sure. I'm tiptoeing around on ice or eggshells or whatever the saying. I can't remember sayings today. So we didn't have that at all. I didn't think anybody was going to bail on us, even though that is an easy spot to do it if you're going to do it.
Yep.
The second thing I wanted to point out is the turnaround. So Jen said 45 minutes. This was accomplished the next day. So I believe it was Monday night
Yep.
that we got notice of the water in the, I would say, late afternoon to early evening. Mm-hmm. By Tuesday afternoon, we were at the other salon meeting with the owner. And then by Wednesday morning, we were packing. So I just, those things happened, I would say, relatively quick within the 24-hour sort of period.
So my crazy mindset of thinking I was going to work Wednesday at noon, I still did work Wednesday at noon, just in a different spot.
Yeah. So, and some of the things, like as a leader, some of the things that we had to extract and then figure out was we had to secure temporary space. We had to coordinate schedules and logistics because we were going from 8-chair salon to a 4-chair salon. We had to communicate with our clients. We had to communicate with the team. And then we have to figure out the financials because obviously now we lost a day coming off of losing a day before because of a snowstorm. So there's going to be a cash flow gap here where there's no money coming into the business, but you still have financial obligations. So you have to figure that stuff out. And it was cool to work through. And the systems that you have in place, those are what's going to carry you. That's why we preach systems and your foundations. None of that stuff changed. We didn't at all stray from integrity. And I think education is something that got put on hold because we had a lot going on this week. But in a different sense, our staff is being educated.
Correct.
So
Yes.
some of your systems are booking and scheduling. If you don't have good software that does that for you and allows you to reach people quickly, that could be a disaster. We had to
Right.
figure out payroll. You still need to pay people this week. And we decided to keep everyone on. This would be easy for us to not do. It would be much easier to say, we'll just see you guys when we open.
Right.
But we wanted to serve our clients. And to do that, we have to serve our staff. We use Slack, but some sort of internal communication. You have to have strong leadership, things like documentation. And this is a big one too, relationships. I always see people that are looking last minute for stuff. Have a relationship with a plumber. Trust me,
Mm.
have one. Because guess what? He had a relationship with someone at ServPro. And they were out there. And guess what? They had a relationship with a contractor. And so we got to meet some really great people really quickly and expand our network because we had a solid network to begin with.
Right.
And, they say crisis creates clarity, or at least a past business mentor of mine said that to me. And I couldn't agree more because now we know what we're dealing with. And should we have to deal with it again, this crisis created more relationships, I would say.
Yeah.
And it created a way for us to think about things differently because we were quite literally pressure tested.
Yeah.
A past business mentor, the same one that said crisis creates clarity, is someone that he calls it a bus test. If you were hit by a bus, what would happen to your business?
Mm.
So he usually starts with, I think, a week. Can you walk away from your business and have zero contact with it for 7 days? And then he does a 30-day test. You go sit on an island if you can afford it somewhere, go sit in your house. You have zero contact with your business for 30 days. If your business can continue to operate, you've got a pretty solid business there. If not, fix the things that broke.
Right.
So
Those relationships, I will say, is what helped expedite everything so quickly. Because we had the relationship with the plumber, before I knew it, Jen, can I conference call in my contact at ServPro? And then as soon as his contact gets on, he's like, this is one of my good clients. We need to take care of her and her husband, and we need to be out there as soon as possible. And that got that part going. And honestly, when you're in a state of panic, as I was, and you just hear on the other end, I got your back. I will be there in the morning, have Todd come with this and that, whatever he's, but we will take care of you. That allowed me to focus now on, okay, what are we doing with our team and how do I focus on the hair, where Todd could lead the team at the salon and how are they going to fix that up? And just hearing that someone's helping you and looking out for you is huge. And I knew he meant what he said. And then having the relationship with Jane that I've had over the last 5 or 6 years and keeping that relationship, that really helped develop the next step really quickly. You have that saying, don't burn your bridges or whatever that is. Again, I'm not really good on sayings either, but it's true because you never know what's going to come around and you need those people that know who you are, know your work ethic, and are like, I would love to have you in my space and it will just make it fun for the next few weeks. Like these were just things that we needed to do to, like I said, expedite this process and get us up and running as quick as possible.
I want to touch on the stress because they're, like I said earlier, you're always going to have problems with a business. This is a super stressful one. This is something we've been building for however long, and we built it physically. So we took this space down to concrete and studs when we took it over, and we built it all out.
Yeah.
It was stressful. It's stressful to deal with that because there's unknown. So Jen went into sort of the denial immediately. And I was able to look around and I go, I don't know how this is I sincerely don't know how long this is going to take. What I do know is how we're going to react and how we're going to face it. And even though Jen is not 100% on board with me right now because she's dealing with the stress, she'll eventually come around and we will tackle the problem systematically how we always tackle the problems. And I would say that first night was pretty stressful. I probably didn't sleep much. I don't think Jen did. The next day, I remember thinking, this is a lot. That's what I thought the whole time. That was my actual initial thought when I remember, or sorry, when I walked into the space for the first time, I remember thinking, this is a lot. This is going to be a lot.
Yeah. Mine came that Tuesday morning when I got the phone call from Todd. And I said to him, like, this is a
Yeah.
lot. I don't know what I'm going to do.
So,
I think I actually said I'm not okay.
and it's important for people to, when you go through something like this, and you eventually will go through something that sucks. And you're going to make it out on the other side. I promise you. You have to be able to sit for a moment, though. Like, initially, we need to make sure the space is safe, make sure, the electrical's off, identify what the problem is, which is a leak in the wall, and get the water turned off. Like, you don't have a choice. From there, it's okay to be stressed. You're going to be stressed. Sit in that for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Because if you try to solve stuff too quickly, that's where you get
That's that spaz part,
yes,
right?
and that's where you make
Yeah.
mistakes. You have
Yes,
to rely
absolutely.
on your core values. This is how we operate no matter what. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
change.
Right. And it keeps you organized in your
And
brain.
you can be the best leader in the world, and leadership doesn't remove stress. It gives stress a direction, if that makes sense to people. So let's talk about our team for a second. So Jen talked about what sort of we said to the team and how we explain things, and then eventually telling them we were basically moving them into a new space temporarily. And I think it worked because we were honest with the team. We were calm. We had already made the decisions, so there was really nothing to talk about. Of course, they had questions, but we had the answers, and we told them too, there's nothing for you guys to try to figure out. We had a plan for everything. So
Yeah.
we
We
want
came from
them.
a place of confidence, and that gave them
Yeah,
confidence.
I had decisiveness in my notes here because confidence. So you don't want to overpromise. I don't know is what I said a lot this past
Mm-hmm.
week
Same.
or weekend or week. I don't even know what's going on. But people will try to guess at stuff. What about this and what about this? I don't know is a good answer for those things because you don't want to overpromise. I don't want to tell people we're going to be in there in a week because I don't know if that's true and then I'm going to look like a liar. I want to be honest with them. I'm not sure. Now, I knew when the demo was going to be done because I was given a time frame on that. So that I was happy to share. Here's what the professionals said this first phase looks like. And it's going to be until Monday before they can assess the full extent of the damage because that's their process. They've got to dry everything out and then they've got to test and they've got to do other tests and whatever. So your people don't necessarily need perfect answers. They just need you to be steady. They need you to be their sort of rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't thank our team. I know some of them listen to this podcast. I can't thank you guys enough for trusting in us, for believing in
Mm-hmm.
us, for just coming in, grabbing your stuff and going, where's the salon? And meeting us over there and setting up. And for those of you that came in when you didn't even need to, you didn't have any clients, but you came in because you were like, you know what I can do? I can set up the color bar, or I can set up the software, or I can help move furniture, or I can help set up stations, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot thank them enough.
It was amazing.
Or our apprentice and assistant, Madison and Piper, they
Killed it.
showed up. They contacted clients. They calmly explained what was going on. They had our backs with anything and everything. If we needed, oh, shoot, we forgot this, or we need an extension cord. That's a bad example. I remembered extension cords. But if we needed something, they were out the door before we could even say anything, and then they were back. So thank you guys. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything else specific, Jen, but
I think it was by the end of the week, like I know I love our salon and what we're doing is amazing, but I don't know if I realized how much, actually, I know I didn't, how much I really love what we're doing and how much this team is such a big role in all of that. And I actually I missed being at the salon with them. And I don't know, there was just so many eye-opening moments. And I love running Hello with the staff we have. But within this last week, I love it even more. And I'm so proud of what we created. And it just showed us like all the things that we're doing and how they work so well. And if you do have a system, a structure, a mission, a vision, a culture in your salon, you can literally do anything when you're even given the worst case scenario. So it was in the moments of where I wasn't feeling great about things, but being just proud and focusing on them and everything we created, it really pushed me through this week so that I could step up and be even a better leader than I think I was the week before.
I agree. And I want to talk about culture next week, because I think there's a lot of people out there that force their culture where they're like, we're a high-end luxury experience.
Mhm.
That's not a culture. And that's not something that's going to help you when you're in any sort of trouble or crisis mode.
No.
So you might want to rethink that. And there's a teaser because we're going to talk about that next week or next episode. But I want to dive into and I'm sorry we're going a little long, but this is probably going to help people that freak out for some reason. So I'm happy to share this, but let's talk about clients a bit and how this affected them and how they reacted.
Okay.
So how did we communicate with our clients?
We either called or texted again, we came from a place of confidence. The literally salon pipe burst. We had a flood. So your appointment will be at, and we had the address, the link to the place, and we'll see you then at this time. We weren't like, hey, do you want to do this or not? Like, it was just out there. And every single person said, thank you, see you then. Thank you, see you then. They were happy to support. They were happy to come in. And all of them were just like, this will be fun for a bit. It's amazing when you just lead and direct and you come from a place of confidence and you showcase that. Nobody even questions it. Everyone that's come in is just laughing and hope you're okay. And what do you need? I've had clients like, can I bring you a tea? Like, they're just trying to help. But everybody's been so amazing.
For sure. So is there anything that we did to... No, I guess I answered my own question there, so I don't need to ask it. I think I was going to ask you, Jen, what was the most important part of the messages, but I think it's the confidence. So what we did was we told our assistants and whoever was helping reach out to people, this is how we want you to say this to people. And we directed them, because then that gives them the confidence, because they know they're just saying it how we want to say it, and we're the leaders. So we're leading it, and they trust that. And so they didn't have any pushback. They had a couple of confused people, but guess what? We put a sign up. We have clients. Right. Some of the clients are older. So they get confused about something. They still go over to the salon. They didn't believe, I guess, we had a flood. But guess what? On the door, we had already taken care of. And it's funny, too, because our staff was like, maybe we should put a sign up on the door to tell people. I'm like, we already got that. We've got everything figured out. But still hit me with your ideas, because I'm sure we missed something somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not sure if we missed anything, to be honest with you. I feel like we've had an answer for every question so far.
Yeah. And I think part of the success rate of that was not over reaching out to clients too soon. So we do it day by day, maybe 2 days ahead. It doesn't need to be all of that, because you're going to have too much on your plate. So we also reined that in. We're going to reach out for 2 days at a time, and then we'll go from there. This way we can get updates for what we're doing. Todd also had the salon phone forwarded to his phone so that he could now play receptionist, which I'm sure was really fun for him. But we thought about everything, and taking care of the clients obviously is at top of the list also. Again, Todd reached out, and we just shut down some of our marketing because we don't need to reach out to new clients. We need to put a hold on that in our space. So there was just so many things that needed to happen so quickly, and we were able to do that in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, I forget what I was going to say there. So I guess it doesn't matter.
Till next week.
Is there anything that surprised you? Like something that surprised you the most, Jen, about this?
I was surprised that 100% of the staff just rolled with it. And I know they had their own freakouts. What I guess shocked me was somebody curated a Zoom call for the staff without Todd and I, because at that point, I think they were like, they don't need to manage our emotions. So they all managed their emotions as their own team and got through it so they could show up Wednesday when we were like, trust us, we got you. They obviously needed to be together. But I think what was so amazing was they were like, let them do their thing. We'll get us all together and then we're going to do whatever they ask of us. 100% of them did that. And that was, I don't know, just amazing.
How many owners out there would be like, who's okay with their staff doing a Zoom call without them behind their back?
Right.
That's what they go to. But at the time, it freed us up to handle what we needed
To
to
do what we
handle, to
needed to
take
do.
care of them as
Mhm.
quick as possible. I remember what
And we didn't know that Zoom. Oh, go
I
ahead.
remember
Sorry.
what I was going to say, which is the reason why we didn't want to freak out and reach out to all of the clients at once, or we told our staff to hold on because some of them started reaching out to clients that are in like 2 weeks. I don't want a client to be confused. We exist to serve the client. And so if we
Right.
tell them that they're coming to one place, but then the business happens to be reopened, now we have to call them and tell them they're coming back to our place. And that's just where it gets messy, especially where I mentioned earlier, we have some older clients. Like I have one gentleman, Howard, who's great. He's, I think, 85 years old. So he was like, where is this? Now, this place is next to our plaza. It's like the plaza over.
Really.
And so I said, Howard, you can walk there. And he was like, yeah, I don't walk much or like around town. And I was like, you know where Shaw's is? It's like a giant grocery store. And he's, I really don't. And I'm like, can you use your GPS? And he's, I don't really use like electronics like that, Todd. I'm 85. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, you want to make it as smooth as possible for people. And sometimes holding back and pausing is the right thing to do, especially in those circumstances. Because our staff is, I'm going to reach out to this person. She's coming in next Thursday. And I'm like, don't do that. We'll work 1 week tops at the most. Also, we only have 4 chairs here. So we're going to have
We don't even know what your shifts are going to
don't
look
know
like.
what your shifts are going to look like. We're going to have to reduce people's shifts. We're going to have days where you're taking a client at a station, and then when you have a break, someone else is taking a client at that station, and then you jump back in, and then maybe a third person jumps in. And Jen and I will figure all of that out because it's our responsibility as a leader. So, yeah. What else were you saying about what surprised you?
I was going to say the Zoom call was happening and it wasn't like someone had reached out to us like, we're going to do this. I didn't even know that happened till the next day. So it was so great how everything was protected. Like you just said, like they knew we need to focus on that, and whatever therapy they all needed, they just took care of each other. So that was just so great.
Yeah, I think they had a drug exchange. I'm just kidding. All right. For me, I guess what surprised me the most was, I guess, 2 things. I've seen this happen before, so I knew from experience that clients would be okay. I knew that clients are totally fine with this, and someone out there
They're just excited to get their hair done.
Yeah, someone out there is, my clients don't want this. That's your problem. You're trying to figure out what your clients' decisions are going to be when you shouldn't. For me, though, the 2 things were, one, our staff, again, is just fucking phenomenal. I think we have a team that most places only could dream of having, to be honest with you. And it's hard work.
People don't probably think it exists.
It's hard work to build that. And we have a commission salon that's run. Our staff likes the owners of their commission salon because everything I see online is, I worked for a commission salon before and I hated it. The owners do this and they take all your money and they do this. And that's so far from the freaking truth if you work at a solid place. And I know that we don't have the only salon out there doing things like this. So stop it. We exist. The other thing that shocked me was how well Jen and I work together, because I've been told time and time again, you guys aren't going to be able to work together. It's never going to work with the husband and wife. And the second you guys face any big problem, here we are. So here we are, and we're still standing, and we'll deal with the problems as they come.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I had anything else to say. I guess I don't like when people criticize me. I don't care. I don't really care. I just think people that say stuff like that, you'll never make it or whatever. I'm like, that's just such a weird thing. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel the need to even say it too?
Right.
I don't know. All right. I guess that's it then.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, I feel like I should have some sort of closing thought, but I don't. So we'll see everyone next week. All right. We'll update you, but we're going to talk about some culture and different stuff next week, and we'll update you with hello, what's going on. All right. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.
Bye.